Yo, guys, it's your boy Bernard. Welcome back to the Angry Blerd podcast, where I'll be discussing everything nerdy that has caught my eye this week. And it's been a lot of stuff, and it's not even time for SDCC yet. That's at the end of the month. But I thought I was probably only going to do like roughly 40 minutes of an episode, but there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the past 7 days since I recorded. And there is a spider in the corner of my living room that is on my fucking nerves all of a sudden. And I just needed something else to get on my nerves besides my mother. But let's just go ahead and get into the podcast. I'll, yell about all that crap later in my personal time. I have to give a rest in peace to Sam Neill. So if for some reason you've been living under a rock and don't know who Sam Neill is, for starters, I did not know he was from New Zealand. I thought maybe he was British or Australian. But yeah, so I'm going to go over some of the movies that you guys should know Sam Neill from. Mainly, you should know him from Jurassic Park for playing Dr. Alan Grant, but he was in The Hunt for the Red October, which might have been retroactively the first movie that I ever saw him in, but he's been acting before that. But I saw Jurassic Park before I saw The Hunt for the Red October, which is funny because my aunt had it on VHS, and it was just like, do I really care about these people on a submarine? Not really. And I think that's a Jack Ryan movie. It is actually. But yeah, so Hunt for Red October, Jurassic Park, the live action original Jungle Book from 1994 with Jason Scott Lee as Mowgli, Event Horizon, Bicentennial Man, Jurassic Park 3, a movie that I own, never watched from beginning to end. I always start it and never finish it. Dirty Deeds. Not the Dirty Deeds I was thinking about, but this has him, John Goodman in it as well. Toni Collette. Wimbledon, a movie I watched only because Kirsten Dunst was in it. Did not know Paul Bettany was in this movie, so that's actually the first Paul Bettany movie I ever saw. Daybreakers, not really a good vampire movie, but they tried. Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, The Hunter, movie with Willem Dafoe. I actually own it. It's a very good movie. Check it out if you haven't. Escape Plan, The Vow, Mind Gamers, which is another UK movie. A lot of people may know him for playing the actor Odin, the Odin actor, not Odin himself in the Thor movies. So if you go back and watch Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, they're doing stage plays of all of Thor's journeys. He is the actor who's playing Odin alongside Matt Damon and I want to say Luke Hemsworth. He was also in Peter Rabbit. He was in The Commuter with Liam Neeson. He was in a movie called Palm Beach, which the funny thing is I don't think it actually has anything to do with Palm Beach, Florida. I think it's more of it's Palm Beach in Sydney. So I wonder if that made everybody who lives on the island mad. Jurassic World Dominion. And he was actually doing several other movies before he passed. Peter Rabbit 2. Obviously, like I said, Thor Love and Thunder. But yeah, 78 years old. And, I just told you guys a few weeks ago, might have been a few months ago at this point, I can't remember because time is a blur, that he just beat cancer just to eventually pass away from pneumonia, unfortunately. But he also has 4 movies that he did posthumously. One is a Godzilla X Kong movie. I think it's Supernova. If I'm not mistaken. I'm looking it up real quick. So yeah, Godzilla X Kong, Supernova, and a rom-com titled The Last Resort. So those are the only 2 that were disclosed, but we're going to have 4 more movies with him. But yeah, a lot of his former co-hosts, co-workers, reached out and they posted tributes to him. So I believe Laura Dern posted something. I'm looking for it right now. I could have sworn I had this. Okay, here we go. So Jeff Goldblum said, the next great adventure begins. Love always and forever. And he put a dinosaur emoji with a heart. Ariana Richards, who played, I can't remember the character's name, but she was the little girl in Jurassic Park. She said, Sam, you were more than just a lovely actor to work with, refined, thoughtful, a skill second to none. You were a mentor, protector, and above all, a friend. Thank you for making our scenes together feel so real. I will be forever grateful to have been on this journey with you. Joe Mazzello, he was also the young boy from Jurassic Park. My initial very raw reaction to the passing of Sam Neill, who was always a better man than he was an actor. All my love and prayers go to your family, to you and your family. I will always be your human piece of toast. I don't see where they... Oh, okay. Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern shared that same post. But yeah, man, you beat cancer just for pneumonia to, get you, unfortunately. Also, Steven Spielberg made a post, and Steven Spielberg really isn't one to post on, almost said on Supernatural, on social media. So he said, I owe a great debt of gratitude to Roger Donaldson, Gillian Armstrong, Graham Breaker, and Philip Noyce for casting Sam Neill in the roles in which he was so brilliant that brought him to my attention and led to his playing Dr. Alan Grant in Jurassic Park. Sam was exceptionally collaborative. It was a stretch for him to play an actor who acted as though children were messy and smelly, because this was the opposite of the loving father he was to his children. I adored making all the Jurassic movies with him. Alongside Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum, we will always have our Jurassic family, and Sam will never be forgotten by us or his many millions of fans around the world. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately dying is a way of life, but it just sucks. And I actually found what Laura Dern said. So she said, Sam was a beloved lifetime friend. He showed me the depth of loyalty, protectiveness, and love, always with the driest of wit. A true and noble gentleman who was wrapped up in my dream leading man. I will love you forever, Dr. Alan Grant. So yeah, rest in peace to Sam Neill. And before I forget, I have to give a rest in peace to what's her name, Brenda Fricker. She played the pigeon lady from Home Alone 2. She actually passed away on the 16th. She passed away at the age of 81 years old. There's no cause of death that was given, but her agent described her passing as a period of ill health. So the only movie I ever saw her, oh, that is a lie. I actually saw her in Saw Married an Axe Murderer. She was also in My Left Foot with Daniel Day-Lewis, but all of us know her for playing the Central Park pigeon lady in Home Alone 2. So I Married an Axe Murder. Wait, she was in A Time to Kill? Wow. Okay, so yeah, she was in A Time to Kill. She was in, okay, I've seen more than just Home Alone 2 with her in it. So she was in Masterminds. This was a very deep cut movie with Patrick Stewart trying to take over a school. I'm looking at her filmography. That might have been the last thing I saw her in, but she was acting in movies up until 2024. But yeah, I got to give a rest in peace to Brenda Fricker as well. But all right, let's go ahead and get into the stories. Okay, so this one, I'm like, why am I not surprised? George Lucas, director of writer of Indiana Jones, director and writer of the Star Wars movies, created Willow, came out as pro AI. You what? So he was speaking to a Rabbit's Foot, which is, I believe, a newspaper or a subscription-based platform or whatever, and he was promoting his upcoming Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. And he explained his thoughts on AI. He basically said artificial intelligence means it's much easier for us to make movies. It's very much like sitting here and saying, well, I believe the horse and the buggy is really where it's at. These cars, they break down, they need gas. There's all kinds of problems with them, and pretty soon they'll be making them into tanks, and then they'll be killing people. It's terrible. There's nothing you can do about it. That's progress. It's the future. If you want AI that tells you when something is fake and where it comes from, AI can do that. Humans can't. We're not that smart. The whole idea is you're a human being. You're responsible for what you're going to say and what you do. And if you're doing something that's illegal, you should be punished for that. Whatever you do, you should be recognized. It's just like real life. So I saw that and I'm like, what do you mean, George? Because we can see, we have eyes. A majority of us know when something is AI. Like something never looks right. It doesn't sound right. Maybe in like 15, 20 years, it'll sound right. And I knew George Lucas was going to be pro AI because George Lucas is the only director who I know of who goes back, who 20 years later decides to update his work. So if you were, a child, teenager of the 70s, child of the 80s, maybe even 90s to a certain extent, you've probably seen the original cut of Star Wars. So you know that Jabba the Hutt was a human. You know how ugly the Emperor looked in that first rendition. So George Lucas has gone back, I believe, twice to update the original trilogy. And the only way you can watch those original cuts is if you have them on, I believe, VHS and possibly even Laserdisc, which was the original DVD, but like a big ass disc. If, like I said, if you're an 80s, 90s baby, you know all about Laserdisc. I'm meaning to actually get one, but I don't got nowhere to put that big ass compartment thing. But I'm a little bit disappointed. And, he also, was talking shit about focus groups. He said, I don't like focus groups. The audience doesn't know what they want to see. If they don't like a character that's interesting, and as a filmmaker, I want to find out why. But when the studios hear that, they take the wrong message and they let the audience actually make the movie. Of course, now they go crazy with that. Now it's all about what the fans think. This isn't how you make the movie. You make the movie by finding someone that knows how to make movies, that has a story to tell, and is passionate about it. I get what he's saying about focus groups, but at the same time, sometimes these focus groups, they'll tell you what's wrong with the movie, and you can polish it, but you don't have to change everything. We just saw what happened with Supergirl. Warner Brothers didn't like what the focus group said, and they cut out 4 minutes of crim and changed a few other things. But don't let focus groups tell you how to make your movie. Because at the end of the day, the director has a vision, but also the studio was like, will this work? Will this not work? Perfect example of that. 10 years old now. Get Out. So if you have the DVD, maybe if you have it on digital, I don't know. The original ending, instead of Rod showing up after Daniel Kaluuya's character chokes out Allison Williams, the police show up and he ends up going to jail. And, we see his character, talking a little real about everything that happened. And, that's it. Everybody hated that ending, so they changed it. And I don't really know how I feel about the change, because I saw the reshot ending as opposed to the original ending that Jordan Peele had. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where you have to see, I always think that you have to see the original ending before any changes are made to it. Trying to think. I can't think of any movies that I saw the original of that I liked versus the director's cut. Because the one movie that I can think of, honestly, that I like the director's cut versus the theatrical version, Daredevil. It fills in a lot of holes that are in the theatrical cut. Or Spider-Man 2.1, that's just the extended cut. Nothing really changes in the story. It's just the subway fight is longer. They got the scene with J. Jonah Jameson putting on the suit after he gets it from the garbage man. And there's a few small things here and there. There's also Spider-Man 3 editor's cut, which I need to get the 4K of Tobey's movies because that's the only way you can watch it. Because they didn't release it like as an individual Blu-ray. You have to buy like the box set. But yeah, I agree with George Lucas on the focus groups. AI, not so much. You let me down, George. All right. My next story is in regards to a project from Marvel, which has been sitting in limbo since it was announced. I want to say like maybe 6-7 years ago. We were supposed to be getting a Nova series. So if you don't know who Nova is, the Nova Corps, we got a brief glimpse of them in Guardians of the Galaxy, but we didn't really get to see what they could do. In the comics, the Nova Corps is basically the DC equivalent of the Green Lantern Corps. So Xandar is the home world of the Nova Corps. They have a giant sentient computer known as World Mind. They all have these cool ass helmets that gives them powers, allows them to fly, photon blasts, enhanced strength, speed, so on and so forth. And we got the announcement that we're going to be getting a Nova series. I think this was like pre-pandemic at this point. And nothing ever came to it. But we finally got an update on that. So it seems that, Nova will now be getting a movie. And Michael Waldron, who worked on Loki and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. He also created the Chad Powers series, co-created Chad Powers on Hulu, will be taking on the script. So Nova's been around since like the late 70s, but Richard Rider actually debuted in 1976. The first time I ever got any like mention of Nova, DK Books, they make these cool books for like fandom, like they're always so-and-so the ultimate guide. Like I brought up the DC one like a few months ago when I was doing previews. So like at my book fair in high school, because they were still doing book fairs in like the early 2000s, I bought Spider-Man the Ultimate Guide, and I read this thing from back to front like multiple times to the point where it was falling apart. I really do want to get an updated one, so like whenever I do move, coffee table book. And that's where I first like learned of Nova, because I wasn't reading comic books until like after I bought that book. So I didn't even really get any comics with Nova in it until about 2005, 2006 when Annihilation happened. So like on Earth, they were dealing with Civil War. In space, they were dealing with Annihilation. And that's when I like really like started to like Nova, Richard Rider, who you don't really see that much. He did just show up in Imperial last year, and they gave him a mini series. But I do need Nova to get like another ongoing series, because he actually is one of my favorite characters, to the point where I'm actually thinking about going back and like retroactively reading some stuff, like his run on the New Warriors in like the late 90s and 2000s. But yeah, so I'm going to be excited for that, and I hope they do Nova right, because Richard Rider's origin is very similar to Hal Jordan's. Alien lands on Earth, gives him the gizmo, boom, becomes hero. So yeah, I would like to see that, and hopefully within like the next 5 years or so. But yeah, that's all I got on that. But I will be taking a break. Here's your W ad, and I will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash and jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix 1 packet or scoop into 8 or 12 ounces of water. Stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal, and it has all the important vitamins. So this has vitamin C, B3, B6, and B12. And it's made from coffee fruit extract. So drink it and go conquer a task, and go to Debbie.gg and use my promo code AngryBlerd10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's Debbie.gg with promo code AngryBlerd10.
All right, I am back. So I told you guys Danny McBride wrote a G.I. Joe movie, and now it is official that he will be directing a movie. So the goal is to have the film out in 2027 sometime. Like I told you guys, he was on the Happy Sad Confused podcast with Josh Horowitz when he was talking about, going to Paramount and pitching like a Dreadnoughts movie. And they were like, yo, he ain't got nothing for G.I. Joe yet. He was like, hold my beer. So yeah, it came out that, the movie is going to be a grounded action movie, not a comedy. And it focuses on Duke and his team. and it takes place in a town where everyone secretly is a member of Cobra. And it said that they're casting right now, and he's probably reaching out to some of his movie star friends. So don't know if Channing Tatum is going to come back and play Duke, because he, been there, done that, did it a decade ago. Like, how old is Channing Tatum? Like, you need to get like a bunch of young people at this point. Like, get somebody in like their late 20s, early shit. If you want to, you can go early 20s. Like Channing Tatum was 46. So I think the G.I. Joe ship has sailed, especially since they killed him in Retaliation. But yeah, I mean, I really do hope that the movie is good and Snake Eyes needs to be white. I'm sorry, but not sorry. That is the whole thing of Snake Eyes. Okay, Snake Eyes was an outsider who learned martial arts in, I can't remember the name of the village. The G.I. Joe lore is so freaking long. And it wasn't one of those things like I was really like locked in on as a child. Like I can tell you all about Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, so on and so forth. Beast Wars, but not actual like Gen 1 Transformers. But yeah, Snake Eyes has to be a white guy. That's the point. He's a white guy. It's literally like Iron Fist, bro. Like when everybody was bitching, Iron Fist should be Asian. Shang-Chi is there. We got Lin Lai, who is the new Iron Fist, because Marvel listens to you guys. But no, Snake Eyes needs to be white. Like I was saying this when they made that Snake Eyes movie with Henry Golding, and that's the reason it bombed, because nobody wants an Asian Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is meant to be a white guy, and he cannot talk. That's why Ray Park was perfect for that role. Like I have both those movies on the shelf, and I keep meaning to run them back. I just haven't found the time to. I don't think I've ever heard Ray Park talking in any movie besides Fanboys. And if you don't know what Fanboys is, it's a movie about some friends who are trying to sneak into Skywalker Ranch to watch episode 1. It takes place in like whenever, 98, 99? Because one of their friends has cancer and he doesn't know if he's going to be alive when the movie comes out. And Ray Park is one of the security guards. And if you don't know, for some reason, Ray Park played Darth Maul in episode 1, but did not speak. That was somebody else. So yeah, really hope the G.I. Joe movie is good. Let's get some people in their early 20s, just in their 20s, period. So then, we can do like Marvel did with, Chris, I almost said Chris Pratt, but not Chris Pratt, Hemsworth, and just, milk these movies for all they're worth. I don't know how I feel about the whole town being like a Hydra facility. I feel like I've read that before, like a comic, but it's a possibility. I mean, it's an obvious trope. Like I think the Joes gonna like be in a battle with Cobra and they crash and they just happen to land in this town where everybody's like a Hydra agent. I don't know. I'm interested. I like Danny McBride. The first Halloween he did, yes. Halloween, what's the second one called? Halloween Returns? I can't remember. I'm looking this up right now. But Halloween Ends, not so much. All right. There's a Danny McBride who is a stunt writer. Okay. Halloween Kills. Yes, but Halloween Ends, not so much. And I think we all kind of felt the same way when it came to Halloween Ends. But hopefully the G.I. Joe movie is good. Keep it comic accurate. We don't need everybody in these super mech suits that make them run fast and give them super strength or anything like that. Been there, done that. Nobody liked it. All right, my next story. So this hit the internet and it came out from like a scooper, and I was like, I'm not believing this shit until James Gunn posted. Like even my friend Vaughn posted about it on Twitter, and I was seeing like Complex posting everything. I'm like, yo, James Gunn ain't say shit. Warner Brothers ain't confirmed shit, but I guess we can talk about it now because Zolo Madruera posted about it on his Instagram, and he's been kind of silent on Instagram for like a good few months or so. Blue Beetle, the Beetle is back. So Blue Beetle will be appearing in Superman Man of Tomorrow. James Gunn did say when the DCU started that Jaime Reyes wasn't going anywhere. He's technically the first DCU movie, even though James Gunn had nothing to do with that movie whatsoever. But yes, I am so happy the Beetle is back, baby. I went into like my love of Jaime Reyes when Blue Beetle first came out, 3 years ago, and nobody saw it except for like me and like my good chunk of my Power Ranger group and 2 of the 3 Shades. And I think there was only like maybe like 5 or 10 other people in that theater. But Jaime, actually, he might be the first teen superhero that I've actually like read from like his origin to like his present and seen grow up in real time. Because by the time I got into Spider-Man, he was already a full-grown man. Dick Grayson was already Nightwing. Tim Drake is still Robin. They won't let him grow up for shit. Like Damian Wayne, who was created in 2008, has grown up more than Tim Drake has. And Tim Drake was created in, 92, 93, something like that. But yeah, so like I have his first appearance in, is it Countdown to Infinite Crisis? I can't remember, but it's basically him and his friends. They're walking, and that's when you see the Beetle like land in El Paso, and he picks it up, or it gets stuck to his back. I can't remember. It's like 22 years ago at this point. But yeah, so Zolo made the post. I'm gonna actually read what he said. Let me go to his Instagram, because I did not send it to myself. So 2 days ago, he made a post on Instagram that said, "Seems like a good time as ever to check out Blue Beetle. If you haven't, the character was and continues to be the most gratifying experience. Shout out to Angel, shout out to DC, shout out to our crew and the Blue Beetle Battalion. Some BTS I'll never get over. Here's one from my camera test on day one as BB." And he just posted basically a bunch of behind the scenes photos. And, you know, I loved this movie. Like, a lot of people were complaining that the family was too much in it. So what? Happens like sometimes, like, and that's how you know, like, people never read a Blue Beetle comic. Like, his father was very involved in, like, his, like, Blue Beetle, like, stuff. Like, his friends were as well. That was the only thing that made me mad about the movie. Like, Paco wasn't in it, and they made, was that Brenda? I can't remember. But, like, Ted Kord's daughter, like, because he has a friend named Brenda. Let me look this up real quick, because this is going to annoy the hell out of me. I said Ted Beetle. But no, like, Brenda was a friend of his who, oh no, that was Jenny Cord. But yeah, Brenda and Paco were like two of his friends who like were with him. Like when he got the scare, they were in on everything. Brenda's aunt was like a, what is the name of that, that lady, they made several like movies and TV shows about her. Basically, she was like the cartel boss of their city. Yeah, but I can't remember. But I am so happy that Blue Beetle will be coming back, and hopefully we still get that Blue Beetle animated series that James Gunn told us about. So yeah. The Beetle is back, as I've said multiple times. All right, my next story is on the business side of comic book things. So, Marvel made an announcement that they are going to be leaving New York and going to Los Angeles. Basically, DC did this about 10, 15 years ago. And it just, like, is this like the beginning of the end of comics, per se? Because both Marvel and DC were in New York since their beginning. Like DC left, I want to say like maybe 2005, 2006. But moving everything over to LA is, I guess, just the way it goes. But they are going to be relocating over 100 employees, and somebody who will be getting a promotion will be Stephen Wacker, who is the editor-in-chief, who is the new editor-in-chief. He will be replacing C.B. Cebulski, who got promoted to the editor-in-chief in 2017. But C.B. Cebulski has a very complicated history as far as like being a comic book writer and whatnot. So he pretended to be Japanese, like back in the day, and wrote a bunch of comics under a Japanese pseudonym of Akira Yoshida. So it was like he was kind of double dipping, like hiring himself to write stuff. But yeah, so apparently he is going to be going to the I guess the Japan side of Marvel, which is weird because like read the fucking room, people. But he did eventually apologize for it. Yeah. He will be moving to Japan to become the editor of Asia Originals for Marvel. So yeah, I just don't know like how this is going to affect their comics per se. But it's just like, I really wanted to take a trip to New York, and everybody knows how I feel about New York. Homer Simpson said it best, New York is a hellhole. And you know how I feel about hellholes. Because they did allow tours of Marvel Entertainment. So, and it would have been cheaper to fly to New York as opposed to California. But it is what it is. I just didn't go fast enough. So I hope like Stephen Wacker changes a few things. Like if you are a Spider-Man fan, you have been fighting for the past 20 years to remain a Spider-Man fan after the events of Spider-Man One More Day and leading into Brand New Day. Like I told you guys before, Peter got organic webbing. He was married to Mary Jane. His identity was out there. He made a deal with Mephisto, got rid of his marriage because Mephisto wanted their marriage. It's like to get a one-up on God or Jesus or whatever. It was like one of the shittiest stories I've ever heard in my life. He went back to organic webbing. They kind of square one him per se, but kind of sort of not really because all the stuff still happened, but kind of not. So yeah, it's very confusing. But and also like I told you guys they killed Paul in the comics, so everybody's like, oh yeah, it's time. Peter and MJ are getting back together or whatnot, but hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. We'll see like what happens with that. All right. Some more shakeup news. I told you guys about the God of War series that Prime Video is doing. This like came out like all within the span of like 24 hours. So Ryan Hurst, who we all know is or was playing Kratos, got hurt. He apparently tore his bicep while performing a stunt last month. So the production was paused, and they said that he wasn't going to be able to recover until like October. You know, he underwent surgery. They said that, you know, it was going to be 4 to 6 months of surgery. So they decided to recast his role to keep the production schedule on track, which is apparently going to restart this fall. So I don't know what they're going to do with like all the footage they shot. Are they going to reshoot all that footage or what? Who will be taking over as Kratos? And that just goes to show you that, hey man, even in Hollywood, these jobs don't care about you. They'll replace you just like that. It's like, yo, he got hurt doing y'all stuff. I get it. You have production costs and everything. I don't know where they're shooting. But like if they're shooting in like an area that's populated by something, you have to block all that stuff off. This is the same thing that happened with Black Panther. Like the movie was already in pre-production and getting ready to start when Chadwick passed. So like if he would have passed like in the middle of production, that would have been one thing. But it just sucks that, you know, man got hurt on the job and they can't wait 4 to 6 months. And I'm pretty sure they're like shooting in like New Zealand or somewhere like that with like a bunch of like fucking like Greenlands and like harbors and I mean, not harbors, but like, you know, waterfalls and whatnot. Maybe even like, you know, Hungary or something like that. But unfortunately, that is part of the job. They still haven't said like who will be taking over. And they haven't said, Ryan Hurst hasn't made any statements or anything yet. So, you know, whenever that happens, I will let you guys know. All right. My next story is a franchise that is roughly 40-something years old now and is making a comeback for the second time. Freddy Krueger. Nightmare on Elm Street will be rebooted again for the third time. They said that is in priority development under Paramount Primal, and no details have been revealed, but all I know is that they are going to be basing this off of the original screenplay that Wes Craven wrote in 1984. So 42 years ago. If you don't know, Wes Craven died in 2015. So it just seems like this might be like a true blue remake with like modern technology. Although Robert Englund said he is done with Freddy. I think I already told you guys this. He's 79 years old. Can't really do that same stuff. I wonder, are they going to modernize the script? Are they going to set it in the 80s or what? But I really been meaning to rewatch all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I downloaded them like maybe like 6-7 years ago. And once again, I just don't have the time to like watch all this stuff like consecutively. Like I have movies that I downloaded like 3 years ago that I haven't gotten around to watching, but it's really a time management thing and prioritizing what I want to watch and when I want to watch it. Like perfect example, hyped up over the damn, still got James Bond fever because once again, still need to take this to storage. 007 First Light. I watched/rewatched all the Pierce Brosnan's James Bond movies and probably going to start Daniel Craig's like sometime next week because I already told you guys the only Daniel Craig James Bond movie I ever saw was Quantum of Solace, and everyone says that's the weakest one. And apparently, I didn't watch Pierce Brosnan's last 2 James Bond movies. I only saw GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies. I never saw The World Is Not Enough and Die Another Day. But I watched them all in the past week. So, there's that. All right. My next story is in regards to a franchise that is, 25 years old? Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't know what's going to be showcased. But Kingdom Hearts will be at D23 this year. And apparently it will have a deep dive into the franchise. And did I say that's going to be at D23? If I didn't, it's going to be at D23. And that will be on August 15th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern Standard. So hopefully I can check that out. And, we get a release date for Kingdom Hearts 4 because Kingdom Hearts 3 came out 7 years ago. 7 years ago? 19? Yeah. So 7 years, nothing but a bunch of remakes. Not remakes, ports. No remasters at all. It's just, hey, it is what it is. All right. As you guys know, for like the past 3-4 episodes, I've been talking about actually owning your fucking games. And this actually came out because Joshua Caine, who is a streamer, had his Microsoft account randomly deleted / permanently suspended, which is basically the same as being deleted. So he said he lost over 25 years of data. And apparently he lives in the UK, so he spent thousands of euros on Xbox games and, cloud storage for his family photos. So apparently his account got hacked. And he said, Microsoft deleted my account in OneDrive after acknowledging that I'm the owner of the account and that my account was compromised. 25 fucking years of data, thousands of euros spent on games. My son's baby pictures all gone. All because Microsoft couldn't bring back a compromised account. One of the biggest companies ever couldn't do that, so they deleted that shit like it was nothing. Fucking shame on you. So he also posted a screenshot of the email from Microsoft explaining the decision. They said to prevent further misuse, we have permanently suspended the account. The action is irreversible and ensures that your data remains protected. They said, if you've used this account for Minecraft, we regret to inform you that the game cannot be recovered. A new purchase will be required on a newly created account. Additionally, if you had files stored in OneDrive, those files are no longer accessible. So he posted that. Everybody said, Microsoft, fuck you. Y'all suck. Eat a dick. Blase, blase, blah. And apparently they caved in and restored his account. So, yeah. So, they said, we're sorry this happened. It's not the experience we want anyone to have when their account is compromised. We've been working to restore access to your purchases and reached out with the next steps. Please check your voicemail or inbox. So he said, I got all my stuff back, my games and my Microsoft account back. I got my OneDrive account back. And most importantly, I got the pictures of my son, which I'm extremely happy about. So once again, I've said it before, physical media matters. And I get it, photos are digital nowadays, but you know what you need to do? You need to go get a bunch of flash drives, solid state drives, before they go up in price again. Like I got 2 hard drives like booted up to this computer. I have hard drives that like back up all my stuff. I have backups for my backups. I have extra hard drives just to be on the safe side. So like I literally have a hard drive just dedicated to like photos I've taken over like the past like 20 something years at this point, because like I have photos from my old like LG phone from like 2007. Like I didn't get my first iPhone till like 2013, 14, something like that. And it was a 4S. Like a lot of stuff I've lost over the years just because, you know, I'm not one to do cloud storage, even though I have iCloud with Apple One. But I just prefer to actually have my stuff. Like I don't really rock with cloud storage, and this is one of the reasons why. Like, does nobody remember the fappening when all those celebrities iClouds and you know, cloud accounts got hacked, and like Megan Good's news got put out there, Jennifer Lawrence, Kaylee Cuoco, Kim Kardashian was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, even though, you know, this photo was from a fucking BlackBerry, just looking for fucking attention. But yeah, so I try not to use cloud storage if I can. I do need like to get a NAS drive so I can like access all that stuff remotely. I just haven't had the time or the money to do it. Like I used to have one. It was this thing called Pogo Plug. Basically, it was like cloud storage, but it was all on a hard drive. So you basically bought like a little mini server, downloaded the app, plugged an external hard drive, flash drive, whatever to it, and you can just access it like that. But for some reason, Pogo Plug shut down like years ago. And that sucks. Like I've basically been without like some type of like remote storage access for like a decade now, or whenever they shut down. But yeah, that sucks. I'm glad he got his photos back of his son. Like I actually just found like my old it's an old like handheld camera that Sony made. It's called like a Bloggy or something like that. Let me look this up. And I got some old photos on there from like a decade ago of like Jessica. I don't remember what we were doing. I know it was summer and I was off because it was the middle of the day. It might have been like 2017, probably somewhere between like 15 to 17. Because my old job, I worked Wednesday to Sunday and had Mondays and Tuesdays off. And I think I took her to a job interview, and I was just chilling in the car with her daughter, just playing. And her daughter was like one and a half at the time, just messing around with my headphones. So I was able to find those, and I really thought like all that shit was gone because I haven't turned on that camera in like a good like 7-8 years or something like that. And it just took forever and a day for the battery to power up because lithium-ion batteries just start to corrode over time. But I was able to get the photos and stuff off of there. And I'm rambling at this point, but memories are important. That is basically the moral of what I'm trying to say. So yeah, once again, glad he got his photos of his kid and everything. All right, here's one that everybody kind of figured. Short story: The Batman Part 2 has been delayed once again. So now, The Batman Part 2 has had more delays than Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, I actually have this saved on my phone, so I'm going to read these. So, originally, Grand Theft Auto 6 was supposed to come out in fall 2025. The Batman Part 2 was supposed to be October 3rd, 2025. All right? GTA 6 got pushed back to May 26th of this year. All right? The Batman got pushed back to October 2nd of this year. Then, you know, GTA 6 got pushed back to its confirmed release date of November 19th of this year. The Batman was pushed back to October 1st of next year. And now The Batman Part 2 will be coming out February 18th, 2028. So it is what it is at this point. I saw like a bunch of people talk shit low-key saying that, you know, Christopher Nolan did Batman better than Matt Reeves and was able to also do these projects between this time. So the main difference between what Christopher Nolan did 21 years ago versus Matt Reeves, Christopher Nolan didn't really deal with a pandemic. Like Tenet came out during the pandemic, and after that, like he didn't do a movie until Oppenheimer, which was what, 2 years after the fact. Between then, Matt Reeves had to deal with a pandemic, which halted the production of the first Batman movie. Wrote and executive produced The Penguin, and had to deal with a writer strike and an actor strike. So it's like, I get it. Y'all like Nolan. I don't. And it's not me like trying to like defend Matt Reeves. I'm just saying the circumstances are different than what they were 20 years ago. Like if Christopher Nolan tried to release Batman Begins in like 2007, he would have had to deal with a writer strike. But he didn't really have to deal with any of that stuff until after Tenet. And even then, he was taking a long ass fucking break. But yeah, go see The Odyssey. If you have Xfinity, they're offering $5 off on your tickets. So just log into the Xfinity app and go under the rewards section, or just go on their website and go into the rewards section. So yeah, Batman Part 2 delayed until February 18th of 2028. All right. A franchise that kind of died once Zachary Levi got into it. Alvin and Chipmunks is coming back. So the new owners of the franchise, Big Shot Pictures, are using cutting-edge technology across their animated works. We got a new look at Alvin, which he kind of looks the same. The Chipmunks will appear online almost like influencers before the next film. And this is the part that made me mad. I was invested, and then they said that the studio is actively hiring people with experience in generative AI workflows. Why? So like, didn't like SAG like say something about like not using AI? Like that was one of the reasons they went on strike. No Gen AI. And like even Netflix just came out, glazing themselves like they're doing their biannual report. And apparently they used there were over 300 projects on Netflix that use Gen AI, which sucks. I don't have the list, but I really hope it's nothing I watch. And probably Stranger Things is going to be on there, but I don't know. But thanks for letting me know that, Alvin and the Chipmunks uses Gen AI. So, I don't have to watch it now. All right. My next story is in regards to the John Wick spinoff, Caine. Starring Donnie Yen. If you don't remember who Caine is, go watch John Wick Chapter 3? Parabellum? I can't remember. But Donnie Yen confirmed that Caine has wrapped filming. He posted on his Instagram the slate and said that's a wrap. So hopefully we will get this movie sometime first quarter of 2027. Picks up after the events of, I really got to check to see what John Wick movie this is. If it was Parabellum or if it was Chapter 4. Yeah, Chapter 4. Okay. So I really hope it's good. I liked Ballerina, despite the fact that a lot of people didn't go see it. But, they might not even see this one. Or they might, people got a problem with women being protagonists and having side movies and whatnot. But anyway, if you are like me and you have Apple Music or Apple One, mainly Apple Music has raised their subscription prices. So the individual price has gone from $10.99 to $11.99 a month. If you have a family plan, you are going from $16.99 to $19.99 a month. And if you have a student plan, college, you're going from $5.99 to $6.99 a month. And the reason is they're saying licensing. So they said as a result of rising licensing costs, Apple Music is increasing its subscription prices starting today. And that was on the 17th of July. So yesterday at the time of this recording. I need to know what Apple One's prices increase. If there was a price increase on that, I'm looking it up right now. Okay, good. Mine is still the same. I am still paying $19.95 for my Apple One. But if you have a family plan, you are going from $25.95 to $27.95. And if you have Premiere, that's basically you get everything that's included with Apple One, as opposed to like, the four things I have, because I have iCloud, Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple Arcade Plus. You get news, fitness, and all that stuff. So you're going from $37.95 to $39.95. But yeah, Spotify even announced that they were, going up in price. And then Apple decided to, make fun of that a few months ago, saying, by the way, we're still the same price. This was in February. So it was like, that tweet didn't age well. So I need to actually see if that tweet is still up. But yeah, everything's just going up in price, man. All right. Last story before I hit my reviews. If you didn't watch Mortal Kombat 2, which I know a lot of you didn't do because it bombed horribly, it will be streaming on HBO Max coming this Friday on July 24th. So watch them back. Watch all 4 of them if you want to. I rewatched the first one before I saw Mortal Kombat 2, literally that same day. Still think the Arcana shit is stupid, but it is what it is. There's nothing you can do to change that. But let's go ahead and I really got to stop saying let's go ahead. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cue up the spoiler alert, and I am going to talk about Season 3, Episode 5 of My Adventures with Superman, and this is called The Death of Superman. So, after Hank Henshaw basically holds Metropolis hostage, Superman and Supergirl show up where they fight Hank Henshaw and his army of Kryptonian drones. John tells Lois that, Henshaw killed Superman in the future and killed Lois, and he traveled back in time with the help of Lex Luthor. And as Supergirl fights Hank Henshaw, she fights the drones. Superman struggles against Hank Henshaw. John shows up and saves him, kind of tells him the same thing. Lois shows up at LexCorp with Jimmy to try to persuade Lex to help them. Now, in good old Luthor fashion, he reluctantly agrees. Henshaw begins to poison Superman with his kryptonite core. Henshaw almost gets hacked by Luthor, but he fails when Henshaw goes to LexCorp, knocks out Lex. John is worried about Kara, and Kara's like, what the hell did I do to piss you off? And he's like, you didn't do anything. You raised me after my parents died. So, and he also revealed that she was the last one who died in the Resistance. John actually has some armor that helps him against kryptonite. And he's like, I can, take out Hank. And Kara's like, no, we'll do it together. So they split the armor. They get almost obliterated. Kara gets knocked out. Hank is on the verge of crushing John's skull when Superman finally recovers from the kryptonite poisoning. Through sheer force of will in good old Superman fashion, removes Hank's Kryptonian core. Hank is about to self-destruct, but then he realizes that John is half human, and John tells him, I came back from the future to stop you from doing all this stuff. I don't remember what they did with Hank, but he didn't blow up Metropolis. Clark reveals that, he lost his powers in the fight. And John's time is up, so he looks at his watch, gets ready to go back to the future where, he hopes, there is a better tomorrow. He goes back. John can't catch a break. And the future that was ruled by Hank Henshaw is now ruled by Lex Luthor and Slade. So, don't know if he's going to come back in time once again and, try to kill Lex Luthor, like on some Terminator 2. We got to kill Miles Dyson type shit. I don't know. But I love the episode. Everybody's complaining that My Adventures with Superman is like Dragon Ball Z meets Superman. And the showrunners have already said that. They got a lot of inspiration from Dragon Ball Z the same way Akira Toriyama got inspiration for Goku from Superman. So it's all cyclical, people. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I'm actually going to rewatch it before I edit tomorrow. I'll probably watch it tonight. I don't know yet. But yeah, check out My Adventures with Superman if you guys haven't already. Airs Saturday nights at 11:30 on HBO. On Adult Swim. And airs on Sundays on HBO Max. All right, so now I am going to talk about X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 5, which was called DVDs, Lies, and Videotape, I want to say. I'm sorry, Weapons X, Lies, and DVDs. So, as we saw in the post-credit scene, Wolverine is getting a team together, and that team consists of Morph, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, Maverick, and Garrison Caine to track down the Weapon X facility to finally kill Dr. Cornelius. But when they approach, they are attacked by mutated birds And Garrison Caine dies in the crash. Never been a fan of his, by the way. So the team fight off all the mutated animals, and they reach the facility. They find it deserted and fucked up. And you see that Cornelius is the sole survivor, but then he mutates into an alien insect and summons a swarm. So the group split off to restart the power in the facility and get a way to escape. Deathstrike begins to question Morph about their loyalty to Wolverine before Sabretooth shows up. And, surprise, surprise, it's none other than the Brood. If you don't know what the Brood are, they are basically the Xenomorphs of the Marvel Universe. Except, they don't kill you. They just lay eggs in you and take over your body. And this idiot Cornelius wanted to use the hive mind to control his test subjects. And you find out that Wolverine was actually infected by one of the Broods. And you also find out his real reason for, getting this group together was to obviously get the adamantium back in his body. You also find out that Omega Red was put in stasis by Cornelius. I'm going to call him Brooverine. Brooverine kills Maverick and accidentally unleashes Omega Red. Morph comes up with the idea the best way to get rid of the Brood and Wolverine is to put the adamantium back in his body because they can't handle the adamantium. So they succeed. They defeat Omega Red. They blow up the facility and incinerate the Brood. Morph and Wolverine, not on the best terms anymore. But yeah, that was a good episode. I liked that, Morph transformed into 3 members of Alpha Flight. He transformed into Puck, Sasquatch, and Guardian, as well as Spider-Man. Hey, I keep saying he, but yeah. So Morph is the person. You really can't say Morph is the man, but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It showed that sometimes Wolverine is just full of shit and just doesn't care about anybody else but himself. And if you didn't know, now you know. Wolverine ain't a nice guy. He's the best at what he does, and what he does ain't nice. All right. Now let's talk about the movie that, I've been waiting for. I have the other 2 in this new updated franchise. Evil Dead Burn. All right. Directed by Sebastian Vanik. Stars Suella Yakub, Tandy Wright, Hunter Doohan, who is the only person I know in this movie, Lucien Bachman, Errol Shand, and Maud Dabney. The movie is about the Price family and Joseph Price, who is researching his grandfather's studies about the Necronomicon and Deadites. He uncovers the Kandarian dagger, all right, which Benjamin claims that can murder Deadites. And his discovery attracts the Deadite Jessica from Evil Dead Rise, if you recall. And she kills 2 random people at a lake before she makes her way into town. So Joseph is celebrating his birthday with his brother Will and his wife and his girlfriend Thea. Joseph and Alice get into a fight. Joseph drives off, runs into drunk Jessica, who recites a passage from the Necronomicon that causes Will's car to burst into flames and allows a Deadite to possess his dead body. Like a week or so later, Alice, Joseph, Thalia, and Joseph's parents, Susan and Edgar, and the grandmother, all reunite for Will's cremation. Alice is obviously having problems getting on with her in-laws. She shows up in sneakers. Susan gives her shoes. Things start to get rocky when they go back to the house because Edgar visits Will's coffin before it's cremated and gets possessed. Edgar starts losing it at dinner, kills the family dog. Before he collapses, Joseph and Thalia get ready to take him to the hospital. But he crashes the car, kills Thaya while Joseph runs off. You probably seen this scene in the trailer where she opens the door and he slams it and breaks like 4 fingers. Joseph runs back to the house and tells everybody what happened. But then Thaya, who is resurrected, shows up, drinks the candle, as you saw, basically attacks the whole family. They lock her in the basement and try to get ready to leave. But then Edgar and Max, the dog, who are both possessed by Deadite, shows up. Edgar's got Joseph's gun, shoots like 4 holes in his head. It's basically like, fuck, I can't remember what movie it is. But basically, it's just his face, no brains left or anything like that. And Alice also comes across Benjamin's notes after Susan tells Joseph to throw that crap out because, you know, her father was obsessed with this and wasn't there for her mom when, you know, her mother's memory started to deteriorate, or when her sister died. Basically, they fight off the Deadites. Joseph obviously gets impaled by a bunch of forks and knives, as we saw in the trailer. I still get chills from that. That shit made my back hurt. Susan lets Edgar in the house. She gets possessed, as well as her mother. And Alice hides during all the fights because she starts having flashbacks of Will, you know, being abusive and basically burning her. She gets a rotary saw and finds Susan. Grandma Polly, who is possessed, sticks a pin in that was given to Joseph by Will in Susan's ear and makes her deaf in her left ear, and chops off her leg and ties her to the stair lift. Joseph ends up dying from his father being, you know, a Deadite and getting in the house. Alice and Susan get in the bathroom. Alice ties Susan up because she knows she should let Edgar in the house, and then you find out that you know, Susan gets told off. Susan gets told off about Will, you know, being an abusive piece of shit, which then causes Susan to turn into a Deadite, and she ends up, you know, attacking Alice. Alice uses the rotary saw to cut into the attic to look for the dagger that can kill the Deadites, and she actually uses it on Joseph, who is now a Deadite. Susan and Edgar chase her up to the roof, but she drops the dagger, goes back down the chimney and decapitates Susan, and kills Edgar before setting the house on fire. By this time, she's outside, back where the dagger is, kills Max. Will ends up showing up, and she ends up getting away after killing him with the dagger. Then we get a mid-credit scene where we see that Polly, because everybody's like, yo, where's the grandma? She's still possessed, and she got out the house and she actually killed somebody who tries to help her. Then in the post-credit scene, we see that Ellie Bixler, who was in Evil Dead Rise, is reincarnated somehow and kills the daughter of the manager of the crematorium. So yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. We did get a Bruce Campbell cameo in a photo. He is the grandfather. I have no notes on this movie whatsoever. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I forgot all about the Kandorian dagger because it's been a while since I watched like the original Evil Dead trilogy. So 1, 2, and Army of Darkness. I really do need to run those back. So, y'all, 10 out of 10. No notes from me. I really wish like we would have got a little bit more of like Joseph and Alice's relationship before they died, because it's like not Joseph, Will, because it's just like we just get the setup of like, you know, Benjamin, who was part of this Illuminati group trying to find a way to kill the Deadites and everything, and then we get, you know, Joseph's birthday party and Will's dead in like the first 15 minutes. But yeah, check out Evil Dead Rise, guys. Very good movie. Like I said, just wish we got a little bit more backstory than that. But, you know, the movie is like 2 hours and some change. But yeah, guys, that's it for me. That was another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Go to w.gg. Use my promo code AngryBlerd10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. No Odyssey review for me because I don't really give a shit. Peace.